Hey everyone, just checking in, getting ready for the weekend. Hopefully you guys are getting ready for the weekend. It's a little cool here in Southern California, but looks like it's going to start warming up. So hopefully wherever you are peaceful this weekend. I know things have been anything but peaceful around the country, but I'm hoping that you guys are finding some peace. And I just wanted to talk to you about 3 questions that I've learned and that we teach our patients at Amen clinics. 3 questions that can change your life. They can change your mood instantly, but they can change your life if you get in the habit of integrating them into your day, especially when things are not going well. Namaste. Yes, I can't see very well without my glasses, so I'm not ignoring you guys. I can't look up close. So anyways, but I just wanted to go over this with you. So 3 questions. What can I be grateful for in this moment? So no matter what you're going through, if you can stop yourself, I don't care how stressful and anxious you feel, if you can stop yourself and ask yourself, what is one thing I can be grateful for in this moment? Am I getting cut off here? Somebody's texting me. Okay, hold on. So sorry, someone, I don't know what's going on. There's a new format on Facebook, I guess. When someone sends you a message, it flips your screen over to that message. So I'm not sure if it's cutting me off or not, but anyways, I'm here with you guys. So, so what is there to be grateful for in this moment? So some of the worst things that have ever happened in my life, and there have been some interesting I'm going to call them interesting because I think language matters. If you constantly use, language that is, it was horrible, and people have horrible things that happen to them. But if you can just change your language and say interesting or fascinating, it has a very different experience in your body than if you label it with really awful words that make you feel bad, right? So let's just say interesting things that have happened in my life, and there have been a few of them. And there was a time where I let it literally almost take me down. And so, but one of the things I learned that is if I could stop myself and ask these 3 questions, it would change my experience of what I was going through. And that is, what can I be grateful for in this situation? Find 1 or 2 things that I could be grateful for no matter what the situation is. And right now, people are going through a lot. So if you can find something to be grateful for, and almost every person I have spoken to has said they could find something to be grateful for going through quarantine. That they've either been closer to their parents or they've been closer to their kids, or there's been something. And there are some people who just have had it really hard. It's just not been a good time for them. So even if it's something small, you adopted an animal, which isn't that small, or you've had more time to clean out your cabinets, I don't care what it is, find one thing, or you've gotten caught up on rest, right? Find something that you are grateful for. What can you learn? The second question is, what can you learn from the situation? I know one thing for me, so what I'm grateful for is the time I had with my family. What I could learn is control is an illusion. All the things I do, I'm kind of a control freak, right? I've got my teacup here and it says queen of everything. And it's kind of a joke because I realized a while back, I'm not queen of the universe. No one believes me when I say it. So it's kind of a joke, and it's a reminder to me that I'm queen of nothing. so except in my head, I'm queen of nothing. And so when I ask myself what I could learn from the situation, I don't have control. There's really very little in life. We put actions into play that make us feel like we're in control because it makes us feel better. But the truth is, how many things do we really have control of? And this last year, I think, has taught most of us, wow, things can change fast. They can change on a dime. And we don't have as much control as we would like to acknowledge that we have. So understanding that's what I learned. So ask yourself, what can you learn? What are you grateful for? What can you learn? That was just one of the many things I learned. I also learned I could do without a lot of things that I thought I had to have. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had a haircut or a pedicure or, all of these things that we think we need to have. So I haven't had, any of those things for so long, and I'm not dying, right? So all the things I thought that I couldn't live without, they're not killing me. So there's so many things we can learn in stressful situations. In fact, one thing we teach at Amen clinics when we're working with people who have severe depression or addiction or all of these things, when they first start seeing us, they get better, right? They get a lot better really fast. And that's a really good thing. They feel really good, but they don't just stay there. They drop. It's like it never just gets all better all at once and there's no challenges. They get better and then they come back down a little bit. And then they get better yet, and then they come back down a little bit. And then they get better yet, and then they come back down. But the zigzags, they go up. It starts to make an upward trajectory, and they never really hit back to square one, at least not for long. They may have a relapse, and then we'll get them back on track. And what we have learned, and what we try to teach patients, is that it's in those dips that you learn the most. That is gold. If you can stop seeing it as failure and start seeing it as falling, and as a martial artist, I've learned that falling is critical. It's critical to learn how to fall because that's how you learn how to not get beat up, right? That's how you learn how to not do it again. And so that's what we teach patients, is that it's in those dips that it's really critical. There's no failing as long as you get up. It doesn't even matter how many times. So learn what you can. So what did you learn? That's just a really powerful thing because it will take it from being an awful experience to one of an educational experience. And that's just language matters. Language matters. Your brain, I've often said your brain and your mind don't have a sense of humor, and they don't. Whatever you tell it is what it experiences. It's like, that is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I can't believe that happened. That's so terrible. Well, then that is what your brain sees, and it's going to make it the worst thing that's ever happened, and you're going to have a hard time getting out of it. But if it's an interesting thing, educational thing, or if it's something that was like, oh, that was interesting, but I can be grateful for a few things, the whole experience begins to change. How you feel about it begins to change. And then the third question is, how can I use this for positive? And that's essentially what I've talked about in the last few videos I've done. It's turning pain into purpose. Take a painful situation and make it purposeful. Now, we've not only gone through quarantine, but we're going through this massive social change right now, right? There's a lot of things going on in the world that are, whatever your thoughts on it, regardless, we're going through a lot of change as a country. And that's an important thing to pay attention to. And it's like, how can I take the pain that I am experiencing now or that I've experienced in the past into this situation and use it for positive, or going forward and use it for positive? How can I turn my pain into purpose? How can I use this in the future, especially for generations to come? Because this isn't just about you. It's about generations of you. It's about generations of us. And we're responsible for how we leave this place, right? So those are 3 questions. So even let's use the social situation. What can you be grateful for? Think of something you can be grateful for going through all of this. Again, for me, there's a lot of things, and I'm not going to get into the political part of it, but just the idea of control. Okay, so when quarantine happened, I at least had the feeling of like, oh, I'm a nurse. I understand how to keep my family safe. I felt some sense of control. But when the social stuff broke out, there's a part of you that feels like, oh, okay, we're on board with some of the change, whatever. But then I don't know about some of you, but you get scared when you start to feel like things are out of control, like you might not be safe. And so that part of me, I didn't have an answer for that. And that was really scary to me. So it's like, oh, wait a second. Okay, so I don't have control here. So what can I be grateful for? I had to come up with some answers to that. What can I be grateful for? My family is safe. I know we're going to be okay. And so what can you be grateful for? There's going to be a lot of changes happening. Many that need to happen, whatever your thoughts are on it. And then what can you learn? What I learned is you need to be ready for anything. Keep your family safe, right? So you need to answer these for yourself. And then the last one is, how can I use this for positive? Well, that one in the social situation is really clear, right? How can I turn my pain into purpose? And I think most people, whatever side you're on this thing, wherever you stand, this is painful. It touches some pain point for everybody. And so we can use that pain and turn it into purpose. And it's just very critical that we do that. And then I'm going to give you 2 bonus questions. So those 3 questions, if you can master those, they will change your experiences. What can I be grateful for? What can I learn? And how can I use this for something positive? They're gonna really change your experiences. But here's 2 bonus questions, and this is what we have sort of drilled into our daughter and my nieces who have been living with us. Does it have eternal value? And for some of you, you don't like to think in terms of eternal. It's a word that bothers some people. For me, it's a great word because it puts things in perspective for me. Does this have eternal value? One could argue that what's going on now has eternal value, right? so based on that, the question is what I'm feeling going to matter in 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years? And if the answer is no, then let it go. But if the answer is yes, then that adds a different level of responsibility. It changes how you behave, correct? So that's really the point of it. The point of it isn't to minimize something that really does have eternal value. It is to not waste energy on things that aren't going to. Like, for example, I was writing a book and I was in the middle, actually close to the end of writing the book, and my daughter walked by and accidentally, she was like, I don't know, 11 or 12, walked by and spilled a glass of water on my computer, and I couldn't recover what was on there. This is a while back. And I was so freaked out, but I had it backed up. So I'm like, all right, it's okay. I've got it backed up. Maybe I lost a couple chapters, but had it backed up on another computer. The next day, my cat takes the computer, knocks it off the counter, crashes my computer, and I lost the work. And my first reaction was to get really angry and upset. My first reaction was to kind of lose my mind. And because this was important, it had to be done. I had a deadline on this thing. And then I stopped myself and I went, is this going to matter in 20 years? Of course not. Because one way or the other, the book's going to be long gone in 20 years. Is it going to matter in 10 years? Is it even going to matter in 5 years? No. So why am I going to scream at my daughter or throw my cat in the laundry room or outside when it's not going to matter very long from now, right? So that doesn't have eternal value. It just doesn't matter that much. So it puts it in check. When it comes to things that are deeper, that are really important to your core values, then that's different. Maybe it does feel like it has eternal value to you. Maybe it's about leaving a legacy or changing the world in a certain way. Then that puts a different light on it, that sheds a different light on it. And so the next question is, why is the world a better place because you breathe? And that's one thing, whenever my daughter would say to me, this isn't fair, I'm like, fair is a place with bad food and farm animals. It ain't got nothing to do with life, right? Life is not fair. As a nurse, I watched babies die of things they should never die of. So I can't even answer that question. It's above my pay grade. I have no idea why things happen in the world the way they happen. I can't even begin to answer those questions. But the better question and the better answer for her, what I would say to her, the response was, why is the world a better place because you're in it? What are you doing to take responsibility and make it better? Stop complaining about it not being fair. Start doing something to make it better. So if this really does have eternal value for you, then rather than complaining or putting yourself in a place of being disempowered, put yourself in an empowered position of, what am I doing to make the world a better place? Why is the world a better place? Because I'm on the planet, because I am allowed to breathe. And so that's really what we try to push into our kids, like put in their heads, is you have a responsibility. And if you don't like something, be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And so I hope this is helpful to you, because I read your comments. I've been reading all of the comments. I've been going through recently and reading them. And there's a lot of anxiety in the world. And trust me, I've had my own amount of it recently. I've had my own anxiety, and I'm not a person who typically gets really anxious. But this is different. Things are different in the world, and I've had to really check myself and use my own coaching. So going through those first 3 questions, what can I be grateful for? What can I learn? How can I use this for something positive? And then moving to the next one, does it have eternal value? And why is the world a better place because I breathe? It's one of the exercises I do for myself when I get really upset. So I hope this is helpful to you. If it's helpful, please share it with someone. Tag me. I love to get your questions and your comments. And just reach out to me. and let me know. And if it's helpful or you like this content, make sure you tap the the button, follow, like, and you'll get the notifications when they come on. All right, thanks you guys. Have a great weekend, and I may or may not be on this weekend because I am editing my book. I'm on the final stretch of my new book coming out in January. So it's The Relentless Courage of a Scared Child. It's about overcoming trauma. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you next week. Okay, bye-bye.